Is One Piece the king of shonen manga? Is there even a king of shonen manga? Well, to objectively answer this question, and yes, I said objectively because I understand that it's subjective when it comes to opinions regarding series, but when you're actually trying to determine what is the GOAT of a certain genre, in this case being shonen, we kind of have to go by an objective analysis. So we have to analyze what is good about this series and compare it to the other series that are usually in comparison with it. So with One Piece, obviously I'm going to compare it to pretty much a lot, if not all of the really big shonen that people consider to be the GOATs. And I understand that trying to objectively analyze anything regarding shonen manga is basically attempted suicide at this point because I'm going to get flamed in the comments. But guess what? I cannot care less. So go on, flame me in the comments. Shonen manga has been criticized for following the same type of storytelling for a very long time. And as a result of this, a lot of the new gens have kind of different types of storytelling. You look at Chainsaw Man, you look at AOT, which still boggles my mind how those two specifically are somehow categorized as shonen. But you look at them and you ask, how on God's green earth are these two series comparable in terms of their content to something like Naruto or One Piece? Like, it doesn't even makes sense to me at all. But the point of me mentioning this is that I'm going to try and juxtapose One Piece with the big three, as well as One Piece with more of the popular new gen shonen, to determine if it's truly the GOAT of shonen. Does it embody the tropes of shonen the best, and does it kind of outdo all of its other competitors? So first we're going to talk about the big three, because I know that in order to call One Piece the GOAT, I have to call it the GOAT of the big three first and foremost. And yes, One Piece fans will already be claiming that this is a stupid argument, it's not even close. One Piece is the longest, has the best world building, has better characters, better everything. But yes, and then there's gonna be in the comments Naruto fans and Bleach fans. Like, you see where I'm going with this? There's literally no way to objectively analyze this, but I'm still trying to do it for the sake of this video. So if this doesn't deserve a like, then I don't know what does. So when we juxtapose One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, it's clear to see why One Piece comes out on top. I sound like a One Piece fanboy right now, but I assure you that it is not my favorite shonen. Again, I'm being objective. So when you look at things like world building and story in itself, like story as in plot and all the things that kind of make up the backbone of the series, these are two categories where One Piece absolutely demolishes the other two. When you look at One Piece's lore, the sheer depth of its storytelling, Naruto and especially Bleach do not even come close remotely to One Piece in that category. And then world building goes without saying, because One Piece has the most vast, biggest world, and it plays the biggest role in the story as well. That's something to do with world building. Like, you can build a really good world, but do absolutely nothing with it. This is something that kind of like AOT does. AOT builds this really big world. I mean, we have Marley and Eldia, but they also briefly mention like other continents, but they have absolutely nothing to do with the story. When we look at One Piece, pretty much all of the major islands that are introduced, the major factions, the big groups in the story, all of them play a role, except obviously the Revolutionary Army still hasn't really done anything. Man, I'm still waiting on Dragon, bro. If this guy ends up being a fraud, I might just delete this video. When we look at other categories, like let's say characters and even fights, if you kind of want to put fights as a category, One Piece might not destroy the other two, but it certainly holds its own. I mean, if you look at characters, Luffy, Naruto, Ichigo, you can go back and forth about who's the better protagonist. That's pretty close. If you look at antagonists, it's pretty close as well, though I personally probably put One Piece last in that category, because the only real good antagonists are probably Doflamingo. You know, NL is a good antagonist, Crocodile is a good antagonist, Kaido, but they don't have like that big bad villain that Naruto and Bleach have. Now, to be fair, what Naruto and Bleach end up doing with their villains is kind of making them useless towards the end and giving them some of the worst endings possible for a villain. I will never forget what Bleach did with Yuha, man. I'm not even gonna, I almost spoiled the ending. But you can see here that of the two categories that One Piece wins, it absolutely demolishes the other two, and in the other categories, they're pretty much dead even. So it's pretty simple why, again, objectively, that's a key word here, One Piece holds its own in a lot of the major categories when it comes to ranking a story. So objectively, One Piece is the best out of the big three. Now, obviously, an aspect that we can compare between these is that One Piece has yet to show any signs of concluding. Though with all the buildup, it's safe to say that Oda has some genius ending cooked up in the back of his mind. Like, there is absolutely no way this man fumbles the ending after everything he's done, after everything he's built. I know it's going to be hard to pull off a really good ending and satisfy what the One Piece is, but if anyone can do it, it is Oda himself. If this guy fumbles, again, I'm going to delete the video. So yeah, we can't compare them in terms of their endings, but again, both Naruto and Bleach have terrible endings. So if anything, One Piece takes the cake here as well. So after looking at the big three again, it's pretty simple that One Piece is objectively the best one. And yeah, I'm gonna get flamed in the comments, but I honestly could not care less. So just Why am I making this video? Now let's compare One Piece to what people often call the goats of shonen. We have AOT, Death Note, FMAB, and I'll throw Hunter x Hunter in there just in case I have not already gotten enough dislikes, okay? So if we look at something like Hunter x Hunter, I'd say Hunter x Hunter is the most comparable to One Piece. Now, because I'm talking about manga here, I will include the Hunter x Hunter manga, though there's still some chapters that I'm not caught up on, simply because of the ridiculous amount of dialogue. When we look at Hunter x Hunter and One Piece, both of them have very, very good world building, but the problem with Hunter x Hunter is they have not fully expanded their world, they've not fully discovered their world, and so it's pretty hard to compare it to One Piece and put it on top of One Piece. So in that category, Hunter x Hunter loses. When we look at other categories like characters and story especially, I'd personally put One Piece ahead of Hunter x Hunter in both of these categories. But you can maybe make the argument for characters, but I do think that for story, One Piece is extremely hard to beat with the amount of lore and the detail that is in the story. So again, I'd say One Piece pretty much takes the cake here. And then when we compare it to something like Death Note, it's pretty hard to compare it to Death Note because Death Note is a completely different series. I mean, story-wise, it's night and day, so I'm not even going to compare it to Death Note. We'll just put Death Note to the side here. Alright, next is Full Metal Alchemy. Okay, yo, relax, chill out, bro. I understand. But One Piece is better in every possible way. Alright, I'm done comparing One Piece to these other manga, man. I can't with you. Now, one of the main reasons I'll hold One Piece as potentially being the king of shonen, why I hold it in such high regard, is because of the sheer amount of outreach that it has received as a series. I don't think any other anime, except for Dragon Ball Z, and maybe you could make the argument AOT. I don't think AOT. Naruto possibly as well, but One Piece has probably had the most outreach consistently over a period of time. DBZ had its big outreach. I'll just mention Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball Z is just one part of it, and that's another problem with Dragon Ball series. It's got like 16 different parts. But the point is that it's got a really big outreach, but One Piece over time is probably the most consistent outreach out of any series. Yes, Naruto has a really big outreach, JoJo's, AOT, like these are series, Demon Slayer even. One Piece probably has the biggest outreach. I mean, it got a Netflix series, bro. It's so remarkable that even Netflix tried ruining it. Like, bro, this show had a good live action, and you're telling me it's not the GOAT of shonen. To have sold 500 million copies is quite the feat, especially considering that the runner-up is almost half of that. And let's be honest, nobody's even heard of Gold 13. Like, what even is that? While it's true that One Piece has the most copies circulating, it's true that also it has the most actual copies of a manga. Like, it has 106 volumes now, so it does have the most copies, but because of the sheer number of sales, the popularity, and the consistency, which in my opinion is the most remarkable thing about the series. I mean, we're getting weekly, bi-weekly chapters almost every time for the last 25 years. That is absolutely outrageous for the fact that one man is still able to do that. I get that he has editors and everything, but that is still unbelievable. And lately, I mean, every chapter has been top tier quality too. Now, you can argue that there are some series like AOT that perform better in certain categories, but the reason I won't put them ahead of One Piece in terms of a shonen series is because they don't represent shonen the best. Now, I know it's hard to actually describe what a shonen is, and this is the main reason I'm trying to get the point across, that this video doesn't mean that One Piece is the greatest series out of all of shonen. It's just the best at representing the genre of shonen, so it's the king of shonen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Personally, I would have AOT ahead of One Piece probably. Like, I'd have other shonen ahead of One Piece. But that is called being subjective. When you're being objective, you're kind of looking at the entire picture. And when I look at the entire picture, One Piece fits the category of shonen the best. It is the most shonen. It has the main character going after his big dream of being the Pirate King, and yet, instead of it being so generic, they use that generic concept and make like the biggest story you can possibly make out of it. And that's kind of why I think it just encompasses all of the characteristics of being a GOAT status manga, and especially being the GOAT of shonen. It's so funny because I know this video will get me flamed by so many people since it's got like quite a bit of objectivity to it, but man, that's why I love making these videos, because I can say whatever I want and just not care about getting canceled, since this channel makes less income in a decade than Ichiro Oda does in a second. But the funniest part is I don't even like One Piece the most, as I mentioned, but I just thought this video would be fun to make to piss some people off and ruin their days. So yeah, comment below your king of shonen and like my videos and subscribe, and yeah, bye.